Hey everyone, in this video we're going to go through the song analysis worksheet, and I'm going to take you through kind of my first take through an analysis of a song. I haven't done this analysis before, so you are going to see just my thoughts as I go through it in real time. An important thing to remember is that you can't be right or wrong in an analysis, right? You have to think about what it means to you. If you want to go outside of that and do some research and see what the artist intended or maybe what other people analyze it as, you can. But don't get hung up on thinking about, like, is this the right thing? You just want to think about, like, what does it mean to you, and what is your take from the meaning of the song? So we're going to do today a song that I love and have been listening to for a really long time, which is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. It's just a fantastic song. It's a little bit vague in some spots. It's a very heartfelt, and I think it'll be a good one to analyze and dig into a bit. So here we have the worksheet that I wrote up. This isn't going to get into every single facet of the song, but it should be a great starting place to get our mind around the big concepts of the song. So what I like to do when I'm analyzing is I will get two windows going, and in my second window, I will pull up the chords and lyrics for the song that I'm looking at. And how I get these, this is a website called ultimateguitar.com, which has a ton of songs on it, and they're easy to find. So how I get this is if I just look for Landslide chords, what it's going to come up is this ultimateguitar.com. Click on it. And all of these are just user uploaded, so things can be wrong, right? Like anywhere on the internet, you want to be a little bit skeptical. So the thing that makes this website really good is it has these different versions on the side, and people can vote and say whether they think the version you're looking at is correct or not. So you want to go to the one that has the most votes with the highest rating, and that one's generally going to be pretty generally going to be pretty accurate. So let's go ahead and start going through this. So as we go through, we'll be pulling out characters and settings, but we're going to start with the structure. So this is written out pretty clearly in the Ultimate Guitar page. And what I did is over here, we have some blocks that if you control and drag them, they'll copy. So we can put together a visual structure of the song. So we start and we have a verse, and actually this is a double length verse, even though you don't see this tag again. So we're going to say we start with two verses. Then we have a pre-chorus. Looks like I need to make a new block for the pre-chorus, but that's okay. And what a pre-chorus is, if we haven't talked about this before, is it's a section that, as you might be able to tell from the name, comes before the chorus, but it bridges between the verse and the chorus. A lot of times, if your verse is kind of like quiet and your chorus is more energetic, the pre-chorus is kind of this building function. So it smooths out that transition, right? But let's go ahead. We'll make this guy purple. Why not? And so we have verse. We have a pre-chorus here. Then we go into a chorus. And so after the chorus, we have a post-chorus. But if you look at it, it's actually the same exact chord progression as the pre-chorus. So we're actually going to drag another pre-chorus down here. Now we could relabel it post-chorus, but I'm going to keep the color the same so we can remember that the chords are the same between those two sections. And then going back, we have a chorus and a verse and an outro. And the outro is, let's see if it looks like anything we've seen before. It looks very similar to a post-chorus. It just has one chord different there. All right, so we'll put this in. We have this post-chorus. We go back into a chorus. We go back to a verse. And then we're going to go out on an outro, which has a similar chord progression to the pre-chorus and the post-chorus. We don't have a bridge here, so this is what our structure looks like. Nice, pretty good. So we can fill in here verse, chorus, and instead of a bridge, we're going to call this the pre, post-chorus, and the outro all share a lot in common, so we'll call them all together. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and now let's put in some chord progressions. Now, these chords might look a little bit different, especially from the chords we talked about. They're a little more complex, so I'm gonna simplify these. So feel free to simplify as you analyze as well. So we have a C, we know C, and then we have this one that's a C/B, or sometimes you'll hear it said C over B. We're just gonna ignore that slash. We're gonna call it C again. A minor and then the 7. So this chord's an A minor 7. We're just gonna simplify that to an A minor. And we go back to that C/B, but we are going to think about that as a C. And then we have that exact progression a bunch of times. So each verse is going to be that times 4. There's our chord. All right, let's go to our pre-chorus section. That's what's going to come up next. We have a C, and then we have that C/B, but we're going to think of it as just a C. A minor, back to the C, C/B, A minor, and then here's where it changes, D. Again, we're just going to ignore the 7. We're just going to call it just a D. And chorus. We have a G, D, ignoring the slashes, E minor. Now, from listening to the song, I know that this E minor goes twice. So you do need to listen to the song and compare it a little bit to make sure you're getting the right durations on these. It's always good to double check that. So then we have C, A minor, D. Now, I like to space it out just so those have the same amount of space in those lines. Okay. And then we keep going. We do have some differences here. That E minor goes twice again. And then this ends a little bit different. C, A minor, C. So it actually ends very similar to how the verse goes. Okay. So there we go. We have our chord progressions written out. Now, this is all kind of the mechanical stuff of this. And this next step is where this gets a little more vague sometimes. So we're going to go through the verses and just give ourselves some notes. What's going on in each of these verses and figure it out as best we can. So, verse 1. I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills until the landslide brought me down. So, kind of abstract, right? There are some good, clear images here, right? We can imagine climbing a mountain. We can imagine seeing snow-covered hills. We can imagine an avalanche or a landslide bringing down that snow. But some bits are a little more out there. Like, I took my love and I took it down. So this is one that might be maybe a little bit more of a subjective meaning. To me, I get this idea of taking your love and taking it down. For me, I kind of see this on, like, if your love were an object, love for anything, and you kept it on a shelf. Well, if you're taking it down, you're looking at it. You're looking at it closer. You're maybe examining that, right? So I would take that as basically like we start with a line about self-examination, but in a cool, abstract way. I love the way that they word that. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. Right, this is setting up a scene, setting up an image. So we have setting up the mountain image, which is great. And there's obviously, you could have some interpretation about like what mountains mean to people. You know, it's overcoming a challenge, all that things. But we can also just leave it at setting up an image, right? Saw my reflection in a snow-covered hill. Sounds great, right? So we're continuing this image, but we're tying back the self-examination, right? We're looking at ourselves. So we're tying the mountain image to self-reflection, right? Quite literally looking at a reflection of ourselves. Okay. Until the landslide brought me down. So this is really cool, right? We have me is the land, but it's also the snow, but it's also the reflection, right? They're merging all these things together. But it's about a collapse of this image of yourself. It's showing that how you perceive yourself can change and can come apart, right? So really cool thing. So how do we want to summarize that? Until the landslide brought me down. So I guess kind of skipping ahead, they're queuing up the idea that this reflection of yourself can change. So it's starting the idea that sense of self can change, maybe collapse, all those things. We move on. This is our second verse. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? And can I handle the seasons of my life? So we'll go a little bit quicker through this one. We won't go exactly line for line. But mirror in the sky, what is love? You know, if this was just like asking the sky, what is love? You know, you would think that that's maybe like someone trying to appeal to a higher power, maybe God. But the mirror in the sky is really interesting because it's, you know, it's still a mirror. It's still asking yourself, but maybe this elevated sense of yourself. So it's still very introspective, right? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? So this is just being unsure of yourself, right? Can I do these things, right? Can I deal with the change? And it also has a lot of recurring like natural images of change, right? Landslide, the ocean, seasons. And I think that's really important to note because the point of this song is that change is happening, right? It's going to happen and it's very natural, right? It doesn't mean it's not scary. Like definitely natural things can be scary, but there's this inevitability to it, right? Which is really important. So we'll say natural images of change, which is cool. All right, we're in to the chorus now, because really, I mean, the pre-chorus is not really anything to talk about in the terms of lyrics. I don't know. They put a guitar solo in one of those, and then they're repeating some lyrics here. So there's really no lyrics here. They're kind of just a break to let things sink in, which is worth noting. You know, it's a we can put that in, a lyrical break. Let's past lyrics sink in. Yeah, that's like totally a fine function. Sink in. All right, let's look at this chorus though. Well, I've been afraid of changing because I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. Right? Very simple, right? Where the verse had all of this kind of imagery, and we have these like nature images, and it's a little more vague. The chorus is just straight up like, I'm afraid, right? Change is happening, like, and like it or not, I'm getting older, right? And how does that change your relationships, right? If you've built your life around someone, but you're changing, does that affect them? You know? So it's I love this chorus because it is so honest, just really, really like honest about fears, about change, right? And that's all it is, right? We can also go back and have our characters. So we have the singer, main character, who's very like introspective, looking at themselves, kind of like unsure. They're maybe like in a position of change type of thing. But then there's also you, right? You. The chorus, they built their life around you. So it doesn't say, is this a partner? Is this a family member? Is this a friend? But we're just going to say that there's this important other person. And they're an important character here. So we do have one other person in here, at least. Now, while we're up here, let's talk about setting. Maybe make this a little bit smaller. Sure. The setting is, I mean, they climb a mountain. So they're on this mountain. So they're on this mountain, they climb the mountain, they turned around. But there's also the reference to Can I sail through the changing ocean tides, right? So it's the ocean. I think the important unifying thing here is there's just very natural places to set the song and talk about and build images. And last one, I like to do mood last, because what you learn through going through this process will change your opinion on how the mood is. And the mood here is complex. I think it's definitely introspective. I think it's hesitant. I think it's a little bit fearful, but it's not like terrified. It is a little bit hopeful, especially if you're listening to the song and you're hearing the way that Stevie Nicks sings this. It's not like a fear, like a doom and gloom type of fear. So maybe bittersweet could be a good way to describe this. It's got this melancholy to it, and that's kind of cool. Especially in the musical decisions of it. It's a very melancholic, very bittersweet song. I hope that was educational. I feel like I learned a good bit about this song and my feelings towards it in this exercise. So I hope that you guys have similar experiences with this. Now, from here, let me finish this video by showing you how we're going to post this. So in the Google Docs version, we're just going to go a file and you tell it to download. We'll go ahead and make this a PDF. It's going to show up right here. In another tab, we'll go back to our course. We go over to the post over here. We say we create a new post. We can call this worksheet. We could call this Landslide. And you just take this over here, drop it in, it uploads, you punch it in, and there you go. It's right there. I hope you have fun with this process. Pick a song that you like, that you think there's some depth to, that you really think is worth diving into, and see what you find. I'm excited to see what y'all come up with. So let me know if you have any issues, and I'm happy to help and happy analyzing. All right, see you in the next video.